Hey there, fellowship. Welcome to this week's episode. Before we get going, have you heard about Anchor by Spotify? Well, if you have an idea for a podcast and an audience that you think will listen, Anchor by Spotify is the right choice. You can record, you can edit, and you can distribute your podcast to all the major platforms all on your phone or your computer. Everything you need in one place. The Anchor app or Anchor.fm. So go to those places right now. Record your voice. We want to hear it. And welcome to this episode of the Pretty Neat Podcast.
I wonder if there are so many people watching Power Slap that TBS is now not working.
The TBS crashed. It's possible.
Yeah, that's definitely not the case.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty confident.
Okay.
But as you guys are talking about it, I'm gonna pull it up on my Hulu feed.
So we don't get it until 10 p.m. tonight.
Oh, motherfucker.
I know, right?
It makes sense, but it makes sense that like you guys wouldn't have it on the West Coast until 10. It's semi-adult, whereas here Central Time it's 9. Like, give it to us at 9.
They're just fucking open hand clobbering each other.
Yeah. How is it semi-adult? Well,
they don't have their tits out. So
right. This is like Power Slap after dark.
I don't call them teenagers, dude.
Francis is joining that, but he's not using his hands. Boom.
It's TV 14, and I don't like the term teenager. Those are semi-adults.
Who gave him a Louisville Slugger? What the fuck is that?
Oh, good God.
Oh man.
It's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast.
Oh, more news. Wow. we're just getting fucking sprayed in the face with UFC fights.
What?
Petr Yan and Merab Dvalishvili are going to fight in March.
No, they're
Please
not.
let that be a fight night.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
right?
March 11th. Oh, fuck. That's the day I'm going to Team USA Baseball against someone in Phoenix for the World Baseball Classic.
Oh, so you will be busy.
What a headliner for a fight night. No, I'll probably be back in time to catch that.
Where was this news?
Headline. I'm looking at it on ESPN. It's as of about, well, this says 9:28 p.m. Pacific time. Well, that can't be right. It's from yesterday, late last night.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's
what
awesome.
A perfect headliner for a fight night. Dear Lord. The UFC just can't,
do you have any initial thoughts on Petr Yan and Merab Dvalishvili?
I think we're going to learn a lot. That's my first thought. We're going to learn a lot about one of those two guys. And maybe both, right? Maybe we're going to learn that Jan's window is closing and Dvalishvili may just be a matter of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Merab has really just come in with such momentum that kind of was halted in his fight. Who was it that he fought where he got rocked pretty early on?
Merab?
Yeah. Was it Jose Aldo that he decisioned?
Yes, in August.
Okay, yeah. And like it kind of slowed him down a little bit, but everyone slows down when you run into Jose Aldo's leg kicks, and just him in general.
Yeah, that was a decision victory for Merab.
And they're both like pressure forward guys. Oh, that's gonna be a banger. My money's initially on Yan. I feel like he
really
have the more accurate striking, but Merab is a fucking tornado.
Okay,
he's a tornado.
Because I can't ignore it, and it is a big red. It is a big red headline on the top of the UFC's ranking website. As we speak, I believe, is the Slap League premiere.
Thank you.
Do you have any initial thoughts on this? Are you going to watch? Are you going to pay attention?
Only that I forgot to turn it on in the background while we spoke tonight. So thank you for the reminder.
I don't know if
I have
can
no
get it on
thought.
this TV I have over here.
No
I'm listening.
I have no thought on the athleticism or competitive value of Slap League. I want to watch it purely for my own entertainment. And that's all. Happy New Year to you.
Sorry, I'm trying to get the that's just the channel that came up. I'm trying to get Power Slap League up here where I can see it.
It's on TBS, isn't that right? So
yeah, it is.
I think that we have someone's TBS account here.
No free shout outs, although this says it's the Big Bang Theory that's on.
Yeah.
You know what? Not a bad show, The Big Bang Theory.
No, not Young Sheldon, also not unfunny.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
I was gonna say while you looked up your Slap League situation. Woo! Oh my gosh. I can't believe I'm watching this and you need to be watching it.
So
too.
You've got Power Slap League up.
Yeah. So okay, then I need to do the polite thing and stream it.
Nah, it's all right.
Oh my gosh.
I'll check it out later.
I'll even get my other camera up and just point it at the TV. Yeah, it's on right now. I don't
Are they doing slapping?
Yeah, they're doing slapping.
Okay.
Rob Perez and Ryan Phillips are currently in round 3.
Whoa.
Ryan Phillips has about 20 seconds left before he does his 3-2-1 slap.
This is
fucking
and
he's
wild.
lining up right now. There's the 3, there's the 2. Here's the slap. Hard knocked Rob Perez back about 2 steps.
Good
they have
Lord.
a what appears to be like a pool noodle that they each have one's blue, one's red
behind their back,
and they're holding it. It's good for gripping. That way they make sure that they don't block unintentionally, right? But man, Ryan Phillips, if this first slap is gonna third slap is probably gonna put him on his ass because he was on chicken legs after the second slap. Okay, I'm into this.
Oh, we can apply to join Power Slap.
Oh my gosh, that was good. Wow.
Why do you want to be a Power Slap fighter or a slap fighter? And then there's a text box.
This is
weird.
This is wild. Okay, the only thing that I think is maybe in poor taste is that they're having Dana White judge every slap.
Is he?
And provide commentary on every slap.
There is John Anik doing it too?
I haven't seen John Anik yet. The ref, though, what's his name?
It's Herzog.
That's Herzog. Thank you. Jason Herzog is the ref. Unanimous decision winner. It's got to be Rob, one-eyed wolf.
Judges.
Yep, Rob, the one-eyed wolf, has won the first ever power slap fight on American broadcast TV.
Absolutely absurd, and yet it is the only thing.
What a watch along
right now.
So we went to Walmart the other day. Usual couple last minute things. It's the closest, grab what you need. They also have cards there.
Okay.
Cards. And the blasters, the UFC box ones, about $30 a box, came out just a few weeks ago. They had some. I was like, oh, my wife's like, grab one, been working hard. Treat yourself. Maybe you'll get lucky. And I open it, and literally in the first pack, in which there are 6 packs. None of the other cards were good, mind you, but the first pack, number 38 of 49, red autographed Johnny Walker.
Okay,
who's fighting this weekend?
Yes, he is.
Beautiful card.
Testify.
Beautiful card. It is on eBay right now.
Okay, ungraded, I'm sure.
Ungraded, but I would probably grade. I would. It depends. If it's PSA, it could be graded a 10. It's damn near perfect.
Okay.
But if you were gonna go to like Beckett, nah. I mean, not like you would anyway. But it's pretty darn good card. So I listed it up there. I think it'll probably sell for like 30 or $40. But yeah, so Ryan,
Hey,
Hello.
hello. Sorry, guys. Having some technical difficulties.
We've been power slapping and palavering. There's the title of your episode.
power slapping and palavering.
Ryan, do you know what a palaver is?
I didn't.
It's an unnecessarily elaborate or complex procedure.
Yes, it is. And read the historical definition.
Okay.
It's okay. I already did.
Yeah, we got. Dang it! My TBS signal went dead. This is so terrible. I wonder if there are so many people watching Power Slap that TBS is now not working.
The TBS crashed. It's possible.
Yeah, that's definitely not the case.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty confident.
Okay.
But as you guys are talking about it, I'm gonna pull it up in my Hulu feed.
So we don't get it until 10 p.m. tonight.
Oh, motherfucker.
I know, right?
It makes sense, but it makes sense that like you guys wouldn't have it on the West Coast until 10. It's semi-adult, whereas here Central Time it's 9. Like, give it to us at 9.
They're just fucking open hand clobbering each other.
Yeah. How is it semi-adult? Run,
Well, they don't have their tits out. So
right. This is like Power Slap after dark.
I don't call them teenagers, dude.
Francis is joining that, but he's not using his hands. Boom.
It's TV 14, and I don't like the term teenager. Those are semi-adults.
Who gave him a Louisville Slugger? What the fuck is that?
Oh, good God.
Welcome to this episode of the Pretty Neat Podcast.
Yeah, if you're still listening.
Where we talk about UFC and other pretty neat things like Francis Ngannou's Nashville Slugger.
Yeah, and, Louisville, how fucking dare you?
Why did I say Nashville?
I don't know.
It is Louisville.
Louisville.
Kentucky. Neat. I'm Aaron.
Old Hickory would have also been appropriate there.
Yes.
Francis Ngannou's Old Hickory. Out of control.
Yeah, that's Dom over there.
Ryan, did you see the big fight announcement from last night?
We talking about the real one?
Yeah.
It was last night.
Last night?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Petr Yan Merab Dvalishvili.
Yes, I did see that. Is that? I mean, that's a big fight.
It's a good fight night.
Yep, it's headlining a fight night.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess
March 11th.
I guess we know that Petr is not leaving the UFC, at least not for the immediate future.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good. I mean, the bantamweight division is even that much better with him in it, just for intrigue.
Yeah.
So I'm into it. I like give me Merab.
Oh,
Give me some of that Dvalishvili.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I've got Merab here too.
Yeah. Why?
I think he's better.
That's a good reason why. I initially like Yan. I think Yan will provide an accurate ability to counter Merab because they're both so aggressive, and I think that's good. But you know what? Fuck everything I just said, because Merab trains with Aljo, and who better to be a training partner with if you're going to fight Petr Yan? Is probably fucking Aljamain.
That would be the guy. Yeah.
So
yeah. Plus Merab is, a nonstop force, and Petr Yan is in his last fights has come out starting slower in the opening rounds, and then he pours it on in the late rounds. I don't think you can do that against Merab with his high level cardio pressure attack, going for, let's say, something like 50 takedowns in a 3-round. Well, it'll be a 5-round fight. So I like him. I like him to get it done.
Nice. I can see that. I can see that.
Let me ask you guys this. I'm just going to say it. Do we really how much is there to recap I feel like the news post fight of all the other stuff has completely overshadowed the first fight night event. Do you guys agree with that? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'd say is most of the things that we picked were wrong.
Well, if you're me, let me tell you guys how my Saturday went. In fact, you know some of how my Saturday went because I was sending you guys screenshots of what I was doing. And at one point in time, I must have had a sour look on my face because my wife goes, "Did you lose?" And I said, "Babe, it's not that I lost. It's that I got every single pick wrong. Every single one except for I had the Chargers at +3.5. Even that felt like a loss given how that game went. But yeah, couldn't have been further off."
Yeah, it was I feel you on that one. Pretty disheartening, to say the least.
I don't think I've ever had a complete miss on an actual bet, but I can definitely say I've picked DraftKings lineups that were where I missed every fight, like 6 fights, which is like the equivalent of a 6-fight parlay, right?
Yeah, pretty close.
And like, damn, that's a bummer. But it didn't feel like we were wrong
until all the fighters that I picked started losing.
That's true. They did go exactly how they were gonna go.
And really, is it Carlos Hernandez? Is that his first name?
Yes, it is Carlos Hernandez.
It was how uncompetitive he looked, and then he just got so choked out. It was like, oh, this is gonna be a bad betting day for me. And so and do you know what, guys? It was. It was
pretty bad.
Well, I'm thankful that we have Ryan here to help us with 283 for some P&P picks.
We're all in kind of consensus around some of those picks that ended up being incorrect. So,
oh my God, Sean Strickland looks so much better than any of us thought. I kept glancing at it, being like, what's happening? How is he not? Because what I did, after I had lost all my bets, I put money on the Chargers to win the game, which I felt good about. This is before it started, and just Imavov. That was a two bet parlay. And I felt pretty decent about that, and I felt really good about it when it was 27-7 or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
And then I was watching the fight and watching the Jaguars just play Madden against the Chargers. I was like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm not drinking, so it was like, harder to process. I don't know. It was not a great day for me. Is really what I'm saying.
Yeah. After that game, I was like, fuck it. I should just have a drink right now.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Good.
I didn't. But it was one of the first things I thought about. It's like, fuck this.
Do we want to talk about my message?
Oh yeah. Your Nostradamus.
Here's the thing. I did not predict it, right? I want to be clear. I didn't say it was going to happen. I have had 2 of these football calls like this in recent history. I think I told you guys about one when it was 28-3 Falcons Patriots in the Super Bowl. Aaron and I have a mutual friend who can vouch. I said to everybody in the room, early in the third quarter when the Falcons blew their second timeout, I was like, that's going to come back and bite them in the ass. And then it did. Yep. There was a play, I can't remember which one it was, sometime late in the second quarter, and I remember thinking, oh, this has Chargers meltdown written all over it. And sure as shit. And I wish it hadn't gone that way.
Oh, it's fine. I mean, they would have just been decimated by the Chiefs the following week. And
that's fair.
There's some change that happened from it. They fired their offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to see them hire somebody who's going to be way more aggressive throwing the ball downfield, since they have somebody who can.
Well, but so let me ask you this. So they were up by 3 touchdowns and Staley was still throwing the ball. They were still throwing the ball heavily.
Yeah, they didn't try to run the ball in the second half, which was a concern.
Mm-hmm.
When they got the muff punt and they couldn't convert that into a touchdown, that was in the second quarter. They had to settle for a field goal.
That might have been the play.
Yeah.
that I texted you
tough.
after. Yeah,
that's tough.
I could tell by your text exchanges that it was madness happening.
Do you think they should fire Staley?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not a proponent of firing somebody. This was his second year as the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give somebody at least 3 years.
I agree.
Bring in their people, build the culture, the style of football they want to play. But with the talent they have on the outside, their quarterback, who they're now going to have to give a massive extension to,
and justifiably, there's no concern with that.
Oh yeah, no, he needs to get one, right? You don't let somebody like that go.
Absolutely not.
And building around what he does, like he has an arm that he can throw it 65 plus yards in the air without an issue. But yet he had what they say, he had the third lowest average yards per attempt. This season, not in the playoff game, third lowest, and
in the whole league.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Yards per attempt was very low, and this was a decrease from the year prior as well, which kind of leads to, is that play calling? Because they have outside talent. Keenan Allen's great possession receiver.
Yeah.
Mike Williams is huge, right? He's the guy that you throw the ball up to at down the field.
Mm-hmm.
They had a speed guy in Jalen Guyton. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL. He's your speed guy. Jordan Palmer was a good third receiver. They have a 6'8" tight end that they could be doing a bunch of jump balls to, but they didn't do that. Austin Eckler had the most receptions on the team, and he's the running back. That's a problem. I mean, discount the fact that Keenan Allen and Mike Williams were hurt for multiple weeks throughout the year, but he had the most receptions on the team. So what does that mean? You're throwing a lot of underneath routes, wheel routes, screens. You're not pushing the ball down the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. Now, the contrarian would say they lost their all-pro left tackle early in the season to a torn bicep, and they were playing with the 6th-round rookie on the left side, his blind side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does that mean you have to change your whole offensive scheme, or do you just add more protection for him to be able to throw the ball downfield? Because that's what he's really good at. That's my opinion.
I don't think in the NFL anything is that simple, because as soon as you start, what they have to do, they always talk about like the way they disguise coverages and blitzes and whatnot. Because if you just put an extra tight end over there, every defensive coordinator in the NFL and 98% of the right ends on the other side of the ball are going to realize what you're doing, and you're going to get away with it for one play, and then they're going to take it away from you. Staley, not an offensive minded guy, right? And I think you got to go find some, who's the Dolphins head coach, Mike McDaniels.
Yeah.
You got to go find an offensive mind like that, I think, that is a quarterback's coach somewhere, and just turn the offense over to him entirely. You're right. You have a literal brick of solid gold in Justin Herbert. That is the equivalent of it's a truckload of bricks of gold. Actually, he is as talented as any quarterback in the league. I'm not even just saying it. He is.
Yeah.
When you're I didn't know the yards per attempt stat. That's interesting. It just tells you they don't throw the ball down the field. But I would imagine San Francisco's yards per attempt, they're not throwing the ball down the field either. And they've got some guys that make fucking plays, as much as I hate them. So you can overcome it. But they have very, very San Francisco. One of the things I have to respect about them is they have some very creative play calling, right? When the Rams are healthy, they have creative play calling too, but you can get away with a shorter or like mid-length passing game if you can be a little more creative on offense. I don't know who was calling the plays for the Chargers, but it didn't seem like they had a whole lot of creativity.
It was the offensive coordinator, Joe Lombardi. And that's the thing.
Who is no longer
the offensive coordinator. They fired him and the quarterback's coach. So, same thing, looking for a new offensive scheme. Obviously, when you do that, you put yourself in a position to have somewhat of a regression because you don't know the system as well. So you don't know the next layer intricacies or, the
lucky for
reads.
Whoever they hire, he has from that moment until August to figure it out, right? Like there's plenty of time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But think about who's a good example of a quarterback who came out of college, supremely talented. Oh, Daniel Jones, right? Daniel Jones. They won a playoff game over the weekend. Giants quarterback.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years in the league, has had 3 different offensive coordinators, multiple schemes every single year. And that guy looks like he can play. He can throw the ball. He can run. He's ultra competitive. Everything you would want to be in a young quarterback. Maybe some decision making. Obviously, he's not on the same level as Justin Herbert. But what I'm saying is he didn't have the advantage of being in a system where he can know the playbook inside and out, know every single read, and know what the tendencies are going to be in certain situations. One of the knocks on Justin Herbert has been that he's too quick in making his reads. They've commented that he can go through a progression where somebody or maybe a more experienced quarterback would stay on the primary or secondary read to let his guys get open. And he's just read. And then he ends up checking it down, which maybe that's a byproduct of his
O-line,
his thought process. I'm not sure, but it's a concern, right?
Yes.
Because you want to be able to utilize that talent, and they're not.
I think Jared Goff is a really good example of what you're talking about. A guy who has all the tools, but in the wrong system looks like a complete disaster. And then in the right system, whether that's with Sean McVay or whoever the coach of the Lions is now, can sort of showcase those tools, Yeah. Let's do football picks really quick. I know everybody loved that segment last time because of how many we got right. So, well, actually, we didn't get that many. No, maybe we did. Jacksonville, KC.
Mm-hmm.
New York and Philly. Maybe a little upset potential there, but I agree with you. Cincinnati and Buffalo. That's the best game of the weekend right there.
That's the best game.
Great White Buffalo.
That's tough. I want to say the Bills because I think they could boat race just about anybody if they limit their mistakes. And the reason why I'm a little hesitant is because they make a lot of self-inflicted mistakes, turning the ball over, fumbles, interceptions. But when they're on point, they're going to put up 40 on just about everybody.
I also think there was a little bit of false sort of. Mike McDaniels knows that team so well. I think he had an advantage that is Zach Taylor, the coach of the Bengals, I think.
Yes, Zach Taylor
does not. I mean, they play each other a lot, but he doesn't have that level of knowledge of the way they operate. So give me Buffalo there too. And then another good one, Dallas, San Francisco.
But that also has the potential for Dallas to win. Again, right? Dallas has that stigma of choking in the playoffs, but they looked good outside of their kicker against the Bucs.
That was so weird. What in the fuck was that?
I've never seen somebody miss
that. Oh God, it was so weird.
4, right?
Yeah, it was so weird in a row.
And that's wild. You're right. I've never seen that before. I just saw that they signed another kicker as an emergency.
Yes. Which
makes sense. They should. Is my video going in and out?
It is. Give me the Cowboys here. I'm going to tell you why. I know that Micah Parsons is an absolute beast. Would you agree?
Oh, yes.
In addition, San Francisco has now won 11 consecutive games I think it is very, very hard to win 12 consecutive games. And in fact, they are the first team, I believe, ever to win their first playoff game in a 10-game winning streak, coming off of a 10-game winning streak, which is crazy. So they were 3-4 and ended up 13-4. I do not think they make it 12 in a row, and I do think the Cowboys figure out a way to get it done.
But that game is in San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Micah Parsons is so much trouble for them. I think Dallas can slow the game down with Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. And if they can contain Christian McCaffrey, which is obviously much easier said than done, I think they will. I think they can be as competitive as any team against San Francisco. And unfortunately, I think if San Francisco can get past Dallas, they will absolutely trounce Philly or New York. But yep, there it is. Those are the picks. Put your money on those and lose, because that's how these go.
Hey.
Hello.
Well, before looking at this weekend's fights, there's also the news to recap.
Yeah,
because we have to talk about what was even bigger than the fights on Saturday night. What was leaked on the T-Mobile Stadium signage before Dana White confirmed it in the post-fight presser.
Give the people what they want.
John Jones is back. He's fighting Cyril Gane for the undisputed heavyweight belt. Francis Ngannou is a free agent and is no longer working with the UFC. And he put out a very thoughtful response to the situation, did Francis. What are your initial thoughts on that, Dom, on his response? He didn't make the UFC look good.
I actually come across as the UFC. To me, it's the exact opposite of that. Actually, the UFC stayed consistent to what they do. The UFC will not have another situation like Conor on their hands where they're dealing with cross promotion and seeing how much money they aren't making. Frankly, Francis is not nearly as entertaining as Conor is, like with a microphone in his hand. And I think on every level, with what's been going on with Jake Paul and him boxing UFC guys, I think Dana White has no interest in being part of watching Tyson Fury beat up Francis Ngannou. Because it you
know what else too? Something that just lends credence to what we've talked about in the past.
It dilutes the UFC product.
It does a little bit too, and we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
The UFC makes 10% of what the NFL makes, right? Well, less than that.
Yeah, top to bottom, sure.
So I'm not going to expect any top fighter in the sport to be making what a top quarterback makes, or anything like that, or a top boxer for that matter. Like, it's boxing does more global revenue just because of the gambling than the UFC. So to me, like, I think the UFC is totally within their rights to stand the ground right where they did. And I think that there's no shame on them. They want to deliver the product they want to deliver. And Francis is doing what he wants to do. And as an independent contractor, he's working with a very strict contractor.
Do you think he tries to go the Nate Diaz route and just or even like Deontay Wilder, who signs one fight deals with different promotions?
I could totally see that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's not going to go fight in the PFL.
You don't think?
No, they're not going to pay him enough. If the UFC was,
they gave Kayla Harrison $1 million for one fight.
Well, rumor mill is that Francis turned down $8 million.
Okay.
$8 million a fight. And
her fight. Wow. For 6 fights?
I don't think it was 6 fights.
I thought the UFC fights were typically
a 3-fight deal.
Francis did?
fights.
Yeah, he said he wanted to fight 3 times in this calendar year. Fight John Jones, then fight somebody else, and then probably fight John Jones again, and then have his contract be done. But then he also wanted a stipulation in his contract that all of the UFC fighters or contractors to have health care.
Okay.
From what I read.
I did hear something similar. And that for the UFC is a no-go, because if they're going to tell you how to train, they're your employer, not a contractor anymore.
They become employees if you provide them that type of coverage.
The UFC can cover them for injuries sustained in direct involvement with the fight, but if you get hurt during training or you have long-term knee damage, that's not from the individual fight.
Who might have long-term knee damage, Aaron?
Right? Well, you would too if you were dragging around old Hickory all day.
Yes, I would.
Old Hickory.
But so I mean, I get where he's going with it. The UFC is not going to be able to afford that with the size of the roster that they have. And
they can afford it. They just won't.
They won't. No. Endeavor won't. And they'll make big stars, and those big stars will continue to go on. And I think some will stick around too. So I think UFC will stay relevant. I also think that we'll see some fighters do some weird things.
I've said this before, and Ryan, I want to hear your thoughts on this. On the whole situation, not just what I'm about to say. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. Actually, two things. Competition is not bad. We've seen this with golf, right? Live Golf is not really taking away from the PGA Tour. They've taken a few of the biggest names. They just got a TV deal. I don't know if they're still going to do the YouTube thing, whatever, right? But competition is not bad. So if Bellator can figure out a way, for example, or ONE FC or whoever can get Francis even to just do one fight, that's great. It just makes the UFC have to be better, and I totally support that. Sure. The other thing is, I really don't think Francis is that compelling of a fighter. I don't think he's that interesting to watch. It's fun to see him send guys to Zarlak 12, but on some level, it's like it's not really that interesting. Now, it would be interesting to watch John Jones beat him, which I think would happen. It was interesting watching Cyril Gane beat him, even though the judges didn't see it that way. And I think Francis would be he would be lying through his teeth if he said, or if he thinks he means that he's not afraid of John Jones or Cyril Gane. I don't think he's afraid of them like, oh my God, they're going to kill me. I think he knows that on any given night, either of those two guys could beat him.
Sure. Oh, sure.
And he wants to maintain this mystique of like, look, I just annihilate these guys. But he didn't look great against Cyril Gane. We broke that down a couple weeks ago.
Well, and we can prove that wrong with Derek Lewis. Like, he didn't pull the trigger because he was afraid.
But people don't remember that.
Yeah,
people don't remember that fight.
Yeah.
I do, and it was super weird. Anyway, I don't think the UFC needs him. I think the heavyweight division is way more interesting now with John Jones, Cyril Gane, whatever's going to happen with Stipe, Pavlovich, Curtis Blades, Tom Aspinall. There's like a few names in there that are not now going to be held up because Cyril Gane is a prolific fighter. I mean, we've seen him 1, 2, 3, it'll be 4 times in about 17 months. That's pretty good for a heavyweight. You don't see that too often. So, also there's a lot of UFC people that know that he is the toughest matchup for John Jones stylistically. Ryan, what do you think?
I agree with you that the uncertainty of Francis being in the division gives a lot more opportunity for everybody that is there to get some type of new opportunity. Things that you just mentioned, Curtis Blades is very interesting, right? Wrestling heavy, has shown to be pretty dominant when he can get his game off. Tom Aspinall, he's still a little bit of an unknown, and he's going to be coming back from injury. I'd love to see him get some type of opportunity as well. Who's that? Sergey Pavlovich, the guy who just destroyed Derek Lewis. You know, that's intriguing, right? But you wouldn't say that he could do that against Francis Ngannou because Francis probably would just smash him.
Yeah.
But The thing I got out of it the most with Francis is that it keeps coming back to they're referring that he slept in his car. He went to France to box, that he fell into MMA as an alternative, but really he wants to box.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to go and fight somebody in boxing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know how that's going to go. I don't know how that's going to.
Who do you think he's going to fight?
I don't think it's going to be a celebrity.
I don't
think
either.
there's any heavyweight celebrity
that would be absurd.
I think he'll fight I think he'll fight a heavyweight with a.
Well, I would say that's a safe.
Obviously.
The nice thing about this. The nice thing about this is we know he's for sure going to have to fight a heavyweight.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And I think they'd give him somebody with a small but bright record. I would see them giving him somebody with like a 3-0 or a 3-1.
Okay.
Like somebody who's a prospect.
But is he going to do that? Because the thing is that he wants to box so that he can make like life-changing money and only have to do it a couple of times.
And I think that would just be to prove himself. And then he can take anyone else.
Okay, so let's go 10-1. Okay. ESPN's heavyweight rankings right now. Jermaine Franklin, I'm not familiar with him. His most recent fight, he lost in November to Dillian White. Otto Wallen, who is most known for the guy who tried to stick his thumb in Tyson Fury's cut, actually looked pretty competitive against Tyson Fury in that fight. That's his only loss. He's 24-1. Joseph Parker is a name boxing heads know. He's 30-3, but his only losses have come to huge names. Anthony Joshua. I think he has lost to Tyson Fury as well. Dillian White, number 7, 29-3. He has lost to Tyson Fury. He has lost to Anthony Joshua. He has beaten basically everybody else. Joe Joyce is 14-0. He beat Joseph Parker.
Old as well. Isn't he in his late 30s?
Wasn't Joe Joyce the guy that was standing next to Alexander Usyk?
Yes.
After the Fury fight? Okay. I don't know how old he is. Andy Ruiz, the famous Andy Ruiz Jr., Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Alexander Usyk, and Tyson Fury. Is Francis beating any of those guys?
I think the obvious matchup here is Deontay Wilder, like power versus power. Prolific boxing power against, the most devastating heavyweight,
quote unquote, the hardest hitter in the UFC, according to their
power versus power, right? We're fighting fire with fire here. I think that's the obvious, clear matchup.
And if he no feeder fight, no warm up,
no,
nice,
no, there's no incentive for Francis to do that. Otherwise, he would have negotiated something that will allow, or would have tried to negotiate something that would have allowed him to do that while still fighting the UFC. And maybe that's something that we don't know, that he was willing to sign a longer contract if he could also fight boxing, maybe have the UFC co-promote. Maybe they didn't want to do that. Or maybe he didn't want to have the UFC co-promote, that he wanted to focus in on that. Because I'm sure they want him to be active. He's going to be, or he was, the heavyweight champion. And now he's released.
Yeah. Well, since he is released, and we are a UFC-centric, pretty neat podcast, what do you think of Jones? I'm going to jump right out. If I heard correctly, he signed an 8-fight contract with the UFC.
John Jones?
John Jones.
Okay.
So over or under 8 fights?
Under. But I heard that he was also already on an 8-fight deal, because if he didn't have a deal and he just signed an 8-fight contract, then the commentary is he was never under contract with the UFC while he was bulking up to heavyweight. See the quotes here?
Okay, bulking up. Got it. Out of the testing pool. He was dating two girls, Decca and Anabar. Is that them?
Yeah. No, so, and that's the question, and that's what I would like to get clarification on. Did he sign an extension to his current deal for 8 more fights, which the UFC's position would be almost assuredly you're going to retire with the UFC. You're not going to go and fight anywhere else.
Yep.
Right? I think they did something similar with Masvidal, right? At 37, signed this huge fight extension. You're like, you're not fighting that many times. Let's not kid ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I understand the UFC's position there, but I'm also curious on, was he under contract? How many fights did he currently have? Obviously, when you sign a new contract, it supersedes what you had previously.
Yeah.
But I don't know the details. I don't think many people do, if any.
Interesting.
And what if he just comes out and loses?
That would be terrible for the UFC.
It's not impossible.
Really, I constantly think back to myself, like, John Jones really is like, he's the GOAT. I'm not going to deny that. A backbone of him though is wrestling and grappling, and that has not looked the greatest in his last few fights. And now he's moving up to bigger guys. And like you talked about, like, watching Francis and Jones, like I feel like that would be so competitive. And like Cyril is the right matchup to bring Jones back. And I really want to see how Jones does. I have it in my head that he's going to come back and just not be what he was.
So if you believe the stories, even when he was at 205, he would train with heavyweights, names people would know, and toss them around the gym. That's what they say.
I believe that, but he didn't toss people around in the octagon in his last few fights. So
Agreed.
I'm like, I have no reason to believe that with bigger guys he will do better. But at the same time, he still has the freakish reach. He has the longest reach in the UFC. He has the reach of like a 7-foot man. So like, I think that his jabs might actually do a lot for him with Cyril. I just don't know what he's going to do. I really don't know what he's going to do. And I think that I just have it in my head that it's going to be bad.
He has a 3.5-inch reach advantage and a 3-inch leg reach advantage over Cyril Gane.
He uses all of it too. He uses all of it.
That is so crazy.
He'll probably win a decision.
Ooh, what is this on 285 on UFC.com? The third fight from the top. Do you guys see this?
No.
Is it Nunes?
No. What in the fuck?
285.
Bo Nickel and Jamie Pickett.
What?
Third from the top on UFC's site for it right now, which is the order of this can move around a little bit, but
yeah.
Ooh, Bo Nickel.
Talk about announcements. Jeez, that's UFC 285. That's March 4th, right?
Right there.
Okay, that's a good card. That's a good card to be on for his debut. I like that.
Yes. Bo Nickel, there it is. And this is the card that they just announced Valentina.
Yes, which is not on here yet. And Alexa Grasso.
Which is not on here. Now, I also heard that Nunes versus Aldana is being finalized for this card also.
Really?
I heard that was being announced. I didn't know it was going to be on the same card. You can have 3 title fights, but
yeah,
would they do 3 title fights for this? For John Jones' return? They probably would.
They're not going to have Valentina or Nunes headline.
No,
another card.
285 is John Jones, Cyril Gane. So let's hypothetically, right? They put them all in the same card. John Jones, Cyril Gane, that's your main event. Co-main event is either Amanda or Valentina. And
well,
then
if Amanda's on, it's definitely Amanda.
Amanda, then Valentina.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have Bo Nickel, Jamie Pickett. That's got to be on the main card.
Yep.
Jeff Neal versus Shavkat Rachmanov has to be on the main card.
Yep.
Yep.
And then you got
Duplessis.
Dreg Brunson and Duplessis.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that could be the featured prelim, but I mean, Duplessis opened up the last main card.
Yeah, you know what? I think Julian Marquez and Marc-Andre Barrio will be the main prelim.
Fuck, you got Cody Garbrandt on this card too?
I think that's a prelim fight.
Yeah, I mean he's gotten pretty worn.
Yeah,
of late.
Although I have to say, we're gonna make picks soon. This card, this Saturday, I mean, it's a loaded card. This is
so good. I'm gonna
top to bottom.
I'm gonna need to get a liquid death so I can speak freely and not be parched. But fun fact, every single fight has a Brazilian.
Yep. And 2 of them, I think, are Brazilian on Brazilian.
Yeah, Brazilian on Brazilian crime.
Are we taking a liquid death siesta?
I am going to grab one from my fridge in the garage.
I'll join you.
Then I'm going to play the transitional music.
And now it's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast picks.
Warley Alves, I didn't think he was still fighting.
I didn't think Warley Alves was still fighting either. And Nicholas Dalby, that's a tough matchup for Warley, man. I don't like that. That's a violent fight. That is a violent fight, though.
Why is there no odds on the Terrence McKinney fight? I'm excited to see that because Terrence McKinney is all action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
ESPN has him as a -130 favorite.
Okay, I would.
And again, I think that is per Caesars.
Okay. Yeah. I should bring up
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Terrence McKinney. As you know, I've said it in the past. He has 100% finish rate. Either he wins by knockout or KO or some type of finish, or loses. So he's all in.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted him to fight our boy from Liverpool, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, it looks like almost every book has Terrence McKinney as the favorite here on best fight odds, which sounds about right. But really, if you're going to make a bet on this fight, you just take the prop that it won't go to decision.
Hell yeah.
If you're going to make any bet on any fight, the only surefire bet that you will guarantee to win is that the Terrence McKinney fight will not go to decision. That's for sure. What a fun one. Do you know much about Bonfim, his opponent? I'm not familiar. Not familiar myself. Inconsequential at this moment. Excuse me. Let me see. Cody Stamen is back. And that's lovely to see.
Cody Stamen, did he win his last fight?
I believe he did. Either that or he lost a decision to a Nurmagomedov fighter. Wow, it does not want me to click his name.
Cody Stamen and Tim Elliott are the same person, right? It's Tim Elliott that beat Ulanbekov that we can never remember. That is one of the chin strap beard crew.
Got it.
And every time I do it the worst. I see Cody Stamen and think that it's Tim Elliott.
Tim Elliott?
Cody Stamen is fucking.
Look at this. You click on the UFC, click on the Cody Stamen, and it pulls up his fighter on ESPN. On UFC.com, if you go and click on the fighters, and you go full screen to look at some information, you get a nice banner, power slap, Road to the Title premieres tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Pacific
We were talking
on TBS.
We were talking about it earlier.
I'm watching the credits roll on it right now. I've had it on the whole night. It's a great show.
Jesus.
There's knockouts. There is a girl who gets knocked out so hard that she literally does a somersault because she's trying to not die.
So Cody Stamen,
So
he beat Eddie Wineland in his last fight, and I'm pretty sure that was very, very one-sided.
Yeah.
And if you remember, Eddie Wineland was one of the guys that
Sugar Show
put out. Yeah, put out in dramatic fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I see he lost to Saeed Nurmagomedov.
Yeah, we were there for that.
Yes, UFC 270. Okay.
We were also there for what will turn out to be Francis's last UFC fight.
Damn.
That is pretty crazy to think that we were in the room for that. But we would be. I mean, we're the Pretty Neat Podcast. Of course they'd call us. Then we move into the regular prelims. And Gabriel Bonfim, I'm assuming related to Ishmael Bonfim, who is fighting Terrence McKinney, is fighting Munir. Is that what you said? Munir Laziz?
Yeah, that looks right to me. Munir.
Would that be a Tunisian fighter or a Tunisic fighter? I like
he's Tunisian.
I like that. I like the way that sounds. I'm excited about the heavyweight bout after that. Shamil Abdurakhmanov, Jailton Almeida. Abdurakhmanov, and Jailton Almeida. That'll be a fun.
Is that the biggest favorite on the card? He's a -900. Jesus.
ESPN has him at a -1000. And that has got to be the biggest favorite.
Aaron's on ESPN.
I wasn't before. Yeah,
you are now. But look,
Andrade
now it's
is a -500, which is pretty big. Yeah, that is the biggest favorite on the card, and that's one of the biggest favorites we'll see all year.
In an MMA fight, yes.
It's got to be sub average, man.
He's got 5 wins in a row, at least in his 5 fights.
Yeah,
sub KO sub.
Parker Porter.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember this guy.
Mm-hmm.
From 279. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. That's just problems for Shamil. That's
Shamil.
You don't see a lot of heavyweight guys get submitted.
No, that's true. They have ESPN has it listed as being on the early prelims. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Yes, it's the main fight on the early prelims.
Yes.
This is a stacked card.
Oh,
yeah. Well, I mean, they're going to put the prelims on ABC, so it's got to.
Yep.
You got to get the eyeballs on it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any initial or thoughts on Thiago Moises making his return?
When's the last time he fought?
I feel like it's been a minute, but
June.
Chris
He was on the Sarukian Gamrot.
Yep.
Fight night card.
That's the case of the Gamrot episode.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 of his last 5, he lost to Islam. No shame there.
No.
Beat Bobby Green.
I was about to say.
That's impressive.
Anthony Fluffy Hernandez he beat as well, he's a pretty good up and comer. Yeah, I like Thiago against Mel Mequizael Costa.
Yeah, right.
That is a name.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Is he in the new running for our name champion or my name champion, I guess?
Well, I mean, it depends on what his nickname is, right?
Mequizael. His nickname is Milk Coffee.
Much easier.
I don't think so, buddy. He has been disqualified from the name champion power rankings.
See yourself out.
Yeah. Take your knives and go.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. The Gregory Rodriguez fight got canceled.
Did it? I have not heard anything about that fight being canceled.
Yeah, I thought his opponent, Bruno Ferreira, had to pull out because that was, you said there were 2 Brazilian on Brazilian fights, and that was one of them.
Moises and Costa is the other one.
Moises and Costa is the other one. Yeah, I think you're right. That must have been canceled.
They got Gregory Rodriguez's body all grayed out, like, you know, like he just died in a video game.
I've never understood why they do that.
I don't either. It's very strange. Huh. Oh, well, let's just hope that it's not a sign of things to come.
God, I hope not.
I like Rodriguez in this fight myself.
It's on the UFC's website.
I would pick Rodriguez if I had the pick.
He is a slight underdog here.
Yeah,
I think his name is RoboCop.
Yeah,
so I'm picking him just because of that.
Okay,
fair. You know what? He does stick his chin out. That is a problem if Bruno tends to.
They got him. They got Rodriguez as a minus 310.
Huh.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I was looking at the next fight.
Yeah. Oh, Shogun. Yeah.
Oh, Shogun's gonna get fucked up, I think.
Yeah. Right. Retirement fight. I think Shogun's done within the first 2 rounds, probably.
Have you guys been watching Embedded?
Mm-hmm.
No, not yet.
Okay. Oh, you have seen it, Aaron? Have you seen today's episode 3? All right.
Yep. I'm caught up. And man, a lot of the fighters that I thought were older are sure excited to meet Shogun there.
Yeah, they really are. Especially like, one big name.
Yeah,
was all lit up for it.
Yeah, there's one big name that's all lit up to meet his hero, and I'm like, holy shit! Yeah, our hero is very old.
And Shogun really didn't seem like he could care less. Yeah. He was just like, all right, cool, dude.
He's like, oh, you watched me fight, and what do you do now? Oh, you're a champion. Oh, cool.
Oh, you're on this card too. Oh, okay.
Oh, neat. Nice. That's cool.
We're looking at you, Davison Figueiredo.
Yeah, we are. One of the things I did like, and I don't think it's a spoiler at all. I love how excited Brendan Moreno was
about everything.
Because he's so great. I love how excited he was that his birthday is also this year and he turns 30. So he's like saving all the 30-year memorabilia for UFC.
Is that what he was doing?
Yeah, like he's got like 30-year gloves. He's like, this is special because I'm turning 30 this year too. Like I was born the same year as the UFC, 1993.
He's ready to sign a lifetime contract right now.
Yeah, he is. As long as he
does. I think he does commentary for the UFC Spanish broadcast.
I believe he does. Yep.
Company man through and through. I appreciated he was talking about how being champion and like all the pressure that comes along with that, interviews, scheduling stuff, threw him off. He felt in his rematch with Davison. And I wonder if having shake that off a little bit with Kai Kara-France victory, that'll help him with this one.
Hope so.
I hope so too, but we'll get to that fight.
Yep.
I guess we already have our thoughts on Shogun. We'll have a Phoenix song ready for you next week.
Yeah, I don't see how there's any chance he wins this fight.
Not unless they pay Ihor to lay down. Yes, his name is Ihor.
Interesting theory. Ihor, I like that.
He's from Ukraine.
Is it Krause? Call James Krause. Let's see what he thinks.
Yeah. Jimmy James. Tell me what's up here. Yeah, he's from Ukraine. No, got to give it to the Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Fighting spirit.
Yeah, fighting spirit. Who hasn't really demonstrated the old man resilience and strength that Glober has demonstrated? Yeah, I can't go with Shogun.
No, there's not many in recent memory that have fought competitively north of 40, and Shogun's 41.
Yeah. Who has fought competitively north of 40?
Glover.
Oh yeah.
Randy Couture.
Michel Pereira. Is he 40?
No.
Yoel
Romero.
Not Michel Pereira. Who am I thinking of that's just like Michel Pereira? He's also got kind of the crazy hair.
crazy hair.
He is 40 or very close to it, and just recently fought. He's got the hair. He bounces around.
Stephen Thompson.
Clay Guida. Thank you.
Well, Stephen Thompson also.
Stephen Thompson. Yep.
Stephen Thompson's not 40 though.
Close.
I think he's 39.
Are you sure?
Clay Guida is 40.
Yeah.
How old is Stephen Thompson?
Wonder Boy is 39. He will actually. He has 17 days. No, sorry, that's his Octagon debut. When is his birthday?
What is this?
Well, who cares? He's 39.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, and Hendo fought that long, but again, he was gone. But anyway, Shogun, we'll miss you. We love you, and you'll do fun things after this. I don't think
we'll ever see him again.
Probably not, unless we meet him at a convention or something, which would be cool.
Probably not.
Probably not that either.
Yeah, he'll be
the guy with no line. What?
Oh, that's so sad. It's just like the Black Ranger at Comic-Con.
Oh no! What is this 30-year Power Ranger thing Netflix is doing?
What?
I have no idea.
What?
Are they getting the gang back together?
Aaron, hit it.
What?
Search it on the computer.
What am I
Get
searching?
out the Google. Come on.
Let's go, Google.
Power Rangers, Netflix, something.
Special?
There you go.
Is it because Tommy died?
Hey, look at that amazing picture right there.
Geez.
Original stars. Interesting use of the word star.
Dude. Yeah, so the actor who played the Black Ranger,
Walter?
Notoriously, you see him every year at Comic-Con. He's in one booth and says, "Get an autograph with the original Black Ranger."
Yeah.
There's no line.
Oh wow, they were definitely shooting like actual things with all of them.
Is that Amy Jo Johnston? She still looks good.
Where? I didn't see that. Wow, these people all look high as fuck.
The one in pink.
I don't think that was her.
This is our Ranger family runs deep, Walter Emmanuel Jones says.
Once a Ranger, always a Ranger.
I have some Power Rangers pogs. If anyone,
do you really?
If anyone in the fellowship listening to this episode would like,
if anyone
Power
out there
Ranger
is still living in
pogs,
1993,
yeah, emails this thing that's coming. 1993ers. Go to the prettyneatpodcast.com and hit mailbag, and then tell me you want to buy my Power Ranger pogs. We'll make that happen.
That is not Amy Jo Johnston.
No, she must have been a different Pink Ranger. Anyway,
it looks like they're doing Power Rangers Cosmic Fury.
Ooh.
It says continues the adventures of Power Rangers Dino Fury, with the team embarking on a journey through outer space as they unlock new cosmic powers and defend the universe against the returning infamous villain Lord Zed.
Huh. Fuck Lord Zed, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was bad. He was bad news. Ivan Ooze, though. I mean, he was just an extraterrestrial film producer. Let's be honest. We should talk about the main card of UFC.
I'm a Rita guy myself.
Yeah, Rita Repulsa.
Yeah, there you go.
And she was the new Power Rangers movie. Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah, she was Rita Repulsa.
I am a fan of Elizabeth Banks, and I'm not ashamed to admit it.
No, I am too. And she
is on the list.
Dude, she knocks it out of the park. She's a great Rita. The remake is actually pretty good for y'all.
Don't say she's a great Rita as if like, oh yeah, I think Michael Keaton was a great Batman. Right? This is not the same.
Because you can't name another one.
No, sure can't.
She's the only Rita.
Who played her the first time?
I don't know her name.
Let's look it up. Rita Repulsa,
the Japanese actress that was not actually ever filmed in the United States.
Machiko Soga.
Yeah, because all that's from the original show.
Yep.
They didn't recast.
Carla Perez. Elizabeth Banks, Barbara Goodson, Julia Cortez, and Christina Renee Farley.
Yeah, Elizabeth Banks is definitely the best Rita Repulsa.
Those are all Rita Repulsas.
Then I stand where I stood before that. Elizabeth Banks is the best Rita.
Fair enough.
But we need
Elizabeth
to talk
Banks
about...
went to the University of Pennsylvania. Really?
The things we learned.
Why do you find that interesting?
Hey, man, that's in the Ivy League.
Oh, Penn?
Did either of you go to an Ivy League school? You have any fucking clue how hard it is to get into an Ivy League school?
I went to a Big Ten school.
Yeah, that's not the same.
No.
God, you make me so angry.
You have to pay with elephant tests.
I have a coworker whose daughter graduated last year, and she was literally, she goes, oh yeah, she didn't get into Brown, Harvard, Yale, or NYU. And I was like, well, that's the whole Ivy League. So
93% of people.
she's in the 99% of all people who wouldn't get into those schools. I have actually walked around the University of Pennsylvania. Wait, are Penn and the University of Pennsylvania the same thing? Yeah, it's Penn. It's like Cal when we say Cal here. I have actually walked around that campus. It's nice.
We have to talk about UFC 283.
Main card.
Well, the first fight, one of these two fighters is on our week's Pretty Neat Parlay.
Yeah. Paul Craig and Johnny Walker. What a fun fight. This is on Dom's Pretty Neat Parlay.
Our Pretty Neat Parlay, which, by the way, if all three fighters win, pays out plus 834 as of right now.
Not bad.
So $100 wins you $834.
And our Pretty Neat Parlay, because I know exactly what it is definitely Paul Craig, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Paul Craig. I
can't quit him.
Just to win. Yeah, no, we cannot quit Paul Craig. You are correct about that. All three fighters are just to win.
Sure, yeah.
That's a plus 835.
Not buying. Well, I haven't told you the other two fighters yet. We'll get there.
Okay.
So, Paul Craig, do you think he's just going to win this, or do you think he's going to win it by sub?
Paul Craig wins by sub.
Yes.
How do you think it happens? What do you think goes down?
What Paul Craig does. Triangle choke.
Well,
Second round.
Do you think that Walker will not have learned from Ozdemir? Of how to beat
not.
No,
Paul
they're
Craig?
different fighters.
Yeah, Johnny Walker will probably rush in, but he doesn't want to play jiu-jitsu games. He's a capoeira guy.
Johnny Walker won his last fight by sub in round 1.
That's true. Fuck.
He clubbed and subbed Iwan Kutelaba.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
But then he got knocked out by Jamal Hill prior to that. He lost to Thiago Santos. He knocked out Ryan Spann, and then he lost the decision to Nikita Krylov, who looks really good.
And Ryan Spann wobbled him bad. He came back against Ryan Spann. Like he almost lost that fight. He could have lost that fight with a different ref. So yeah, Paul Craig. And I think by sub, you're right. Probably triangle. First round, second round.
Men should not dance as much as Johnny Walker does.
I don't think that's unreasonable. I guess. What about Lauren Murphy and Jessica Andrade? Oh my gosh, this better be on your parlay.
It is not on our parlay. So actually, and I misspoke earlier, Jessica Andrade and the next fight, Gilbert Burns, are the two second biggest favorites, both at minus 500. I do not see a path to victory for Lauren Murphy here.
Either do I. The one thing that gives me pause about the fight in general is Lauren Murphy will have a pretty sizable reach advantage.
Yes, and height.
And yeah, she's.
But
Jessica Andrade is 5'1".
Didn't Lemos?
Lemos. I mean, let's be honest. Everybody has a size advantage over Jessica Andrade.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem is that Lauren Murphy is far more prone to playing that game of keeping distance, where Lemos will go in for some violence.
Yeah.
I still like Andrade, though. She's going to be able to get into the clinch. She's a fucking animal, and she's going to put Lauren Murphy on the canvas.
Yep. Tapper. It's going to be a tap. Club and sub.
I'm going to say Tapperoo. I got a new putter cover that is Bob Barker punching Happy Gilmore, and along the edge it says, I don't want a piece of you, I want the whole thing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah. Send him home.
The issue with putting this fight on the parlay, which I considered actually the next two fights, you could say this about, I'm not going to tell you if the second one is on, if the next one is on the parlay or not. It's a 3-fight parlay. Parlays can get to a point of diminishing returns, and you throw in that minus 500 fighter and you feel like, oh, okay, I'll add one more leg to it and boost my odds by another 100 to 220 points, whatever it is. You're adding a 25, well, somewhere between 25 and 33% chance of losing that bet, right?
Yeah.
Of something going weird. You just have,
might as well not play.
Yeah. Lauren Murphy absorbs way too many strikes per minute than she gives. Although Jessica Andrade will take one too. Not uncommon at these weights for women, I suppose, but I don't see it for Lauren Murphy here.
She'll get overwhelmed real fast, I
think.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same with Neil. I feel like the Gilbert Burns Neil Magny fight is like almost a mirror of the Murphy Andrade fight. Like, yes, I think Burns is going to go in there and maul Neil, but I think Neil will take it a little bit longer. I could even see this going to a decision, but truth be told, I think this is Burns TKO all the way. And that's just because, I mean, he fought Khamzat last. Like, come on. Like, that's a nightmare and a half he just dealt with. He got through it. I think he'll feel invincible when he's fighting somebody like Neil Magny versus Khamzat. So I think he's gonna have the momentum, and he'll come in like a wrecking ball, as the great.
There is a significant reach advantage for Neil Magny, 9 inches.
Yeah, doesn't deploy the jab enough though. He just doesn't. And it won't deter Gilbert because he'll dive in. So I don't see it for Neil here at all.
Ryan, do you think this fight is on the parlay?
I do.
Oh, it is not.
Oh,
sorry.
I should have known that since this is our parlay.
Yes, that's right.
Damn. Yeah, I'm Gilbert's gonna have to take this to the ground.
Pummel him.
Yeah. In Neil Magny's last fight, which was the
Max Griff.
No, he fight Daniel Rodriguez, D-Rod.
D-Rod.
Mr. 1986. And that was a sub win at the end of the fight where D-Rod just looked gassed.
Yeah.
A little bit. He didn't look like his normal self.
Nope.
And then prior to that, Shavkat subbed him round 2. Then he beat Max.
Yeah.
Then he beat Jeff Neal, and then he lost to Chiesa. But that was back in 2021, the beginning of 2021, so a full 2 years ago.
Hey, he's definitely active.
Yeah, he fought 3 times last year, March, June, and November. So he's good for every 3 to 4 months. I still like Gilbert.
Yep.
Gilbert's got too many skills.
I like Gilbert too. It's the same problem with Jessica Andrade that I was just talking about. There's no value in betting on him. So,
yeah, why bother? Hey, let's move into the co-main event then. The quadrilogy, the unification bout. Davison Figueiredo, the champion, taking on the interim champion, Brandon Assassin Baby Moreno. I can't give my initial thoughts first because I don't have them together.
You don't have thoughts together?
Do you guys think this one is on the Pretty Neat Parlay?
It has to be.
Okay, just making sure you're paying attention. And who did we choose, Ryan?
We definitely had to have picked Assassin Baby.
We did. And here's why. Caesars has him as a slight favorite. The UFC is showing him, and it's a pick 'em, both -110. I just think he is a hair better than Figueiredo is. And we saw Figueiredo come into Moreno's backyard in Anaheim and win. I think we're going to see Moreno come into Figueiredo's backyard and win.
Okay. Little regional justice.
But my God, they are so evenly matched.
So close.
Yeah.
They are almost indistinguishable from an advanced stats standpoint.
The thing that stands out is I don't think Davison is going to be able to make this weight much longer, or maybe beyond this fight.
I don't think you're wrong. I think the weight cut will be very hard for him. Jeez. And you know what? He's fought Brandon Moreno 3 times in a row. The guy hasn't fought anybody else for years. Like, at least Brandon got some spice with Kai Kara France. Got to change it up a little bit. He switched coaches. He's now training with Saif Sayoud, right, instead of Jamie Krause.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great team to be working with, to put a good plan in place. Yeah, I think Moreno as well. And
the question would... No, go ahead.
I think it'll be a decision. I think it'll be a hard-fought decision.
So answer me this. How long has he been training with Saif Sayoud in Texas?
Geez, probably less than a month.
So how much can Saif Sayoud really do?
I don't know.
It's an interesting question.
I don't know. It is.
You think about camps and coaches.
Mm-hmm.
First, you have to there's a lot of tape on Brandon, so you should be able to understand what his strengths are.
Mm-hmm.
And correct me if I'm wrong, is Saif Sayoud the guy who calls out like really complex
I think so.
code words?
Yeah, something
as opposed
like
to saying like 3-2, he doesn't want the other corner to understand what they're trying to do, so he like uses code
it's
words.
like baseball signs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He's throwing signs. He's using different terms for whatever they practice on. So if he's been there for a month, is that going to be second nature, or is he going to have to think about that? And when you think about hesitation with flyweights, does that give Davison an edge?
Just to translate the code word giraffe into a combo or something, that little extra hesitation. Wait, is it giraffe or elephant?
I don't think in the middle of a fight you're listening to what your coach is saying.
No?
In between rounds, but I think while you're in there, you don't have that much time. If you take your focus off Davison Figueiredo for a millisecond, the fight is over.
Yeah.
So
I agree though. I like this being in Figueiredo's backyard for Moreno. I do like that. I think Moreno. I still think Moreno's going to get it done. I do. I like the energy he brings. It'll be good.
So Brandon Moreno is the second leg of the pretty neat parlay.
Then the last one is the last fight. You could tell we're getting towards the end. Is the last fight on the pretty neat parlay the main event fight of the evening? Glover Teixeira versus Jamaal Hill.
Well, it has to be because it's a 3-fight parlay, and I've only revealed 2.
Yes, my math is going well. I like Jamaal Hill.
Really?
And I think he gets it done early too.
I don't think that's what we put on the parlay, though.
It is not what we put on the parlay.
I didn't think so, but I like Jamaal Hill.
Okay.
Why?
Why do you like Jamaal Hill?
I think Jamaal Hill is going to be able to throw up the center. He's going to be southpaw, so his jab is going to go very, very well. He'll be able to probably avoid, but if Glover gets a single leg, it's over. And frankly, I think that is a very high likelihood of happening. But I think Jamaal hits way harder than it seems. I think he's got a great reach advantage. He's going to sting his front jab out, keep Glover at a distance, and put something up the middle. And I think an uppercut or a front kick is going to end Glover's night.
Jamaal hits like a truck. You are not wrong about that.
It's going to be like when Alexander Gustafsson knocked him out. I think Jamaal Hill will put him out.
Ryan, what do you think of this fight?
So Jamaal Hill is 11-1. I think we all remember what his loss was.
Mm-hmm.
They called that a TKO, but the man was being triangled with a dislocated elbow.
Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah,
Paul Craig.
Yes.
Yep.
we can't quit you, Paul Craig.
We cannot quit you, Paul Craig. That's the only loss he's had in his professional career. In the UFC, he's had 7 fights and then 1 contender series, which he won by knockout.
Mm-hmm.
And since he's been in the UFC officially, he's had a decision win and a no contest because of likely some type of foul in round 1. And then every other fight has been finished by KO.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the same. And I think this is going to be a KO for Glover because he is going to put him on the ground. And he's going to do some things like he did to Anthony Smith and just pummel him. And I'm not saying he's going to knock his teeth out like you did with Anthony Smith, but
that Anthony Smith fight's a great example.
It's not
power.
the same. It's not the same comparison because Anthony Smith is not the striker that Jamaal Hill is. No. Anthony Smith refers to himself as a jiu-jitsu guy.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw what happened with.
Well, there's like jiu-jitsu guys and there's Glover Teixeira jiu-jitsu guys. That's like a different level of stuff.
Just suffocating.
They say it's like having a hippo on top of you.
Yeah. Damn. So that's what I think. I also think that he wins and he pulls I've said this before, he pulls a John Elway and rides off into the sunset.
Okay.
I am with you. He looks in Embedded, he looks fucking jacked.
Yeah,
Aaron, I don't know if you picked up on that, but he
does.
He is thick.
Brandon Moreno called him. Didn't Brandon Moreno call him skinny?
They compared abs. And Brandon Moreno was trying to use the Portuguese term for skinny, but he said weak. And Glover was like, no, don't call yourself weak. Also, Glover just seems like the nicest guy on earth.
He really does.
I think Jamaal Hill hits hard, but he trains with Alex Pereira.
Yep.
And Alex Pereira isn't hearing a peep out of Jamaal Hill, even at 205. Yeah, I said it. Glover is also a slight underdog here, so you're getting value on your bet, whether he wins or loses. Of course, if he loses, you lose your money, but the value payout is with Glover. Aaron, who's a better fighter, Jamaal Hill or Yuri Prochazka?
You see, I would say Yuri Prochazka would be.
Yeah, me too. And Glover basically beat Yuri Prochazka except for the last 30 seconds. I don't think Jamaal Hill is that good, and I think Glover gets it done.
Fair.
And sure as fuck, if it goes to decision, Glover wins.
I do think the later this goes, much better for Glover.
Yes.
I think it would be far more likely that Glover will win a decision or a late TKO or a late stoppage. I think if Jamaal gets this, it's going to be in the first 2 rounds, and it's going to be an out cold knockout.
I could see Glover just kind of wrestling him for 3.5 rounds, and kind of to Ryan's point, I think that is a thick man to be carrying around.
That's what he should do. And if he can grab that front leg of Jamaal, he's gonna do it. But that's all Jamaal's gonna be avoiding. That's all he's gonna do is be avoiding that and peppering with jabs, use his reach, and load up something big. Because that's what it's gonna take.
Jamaal Hill has been going through the right steps in his career, but this is also probably the biggest step up in competition he's had. The gap between Glover Teixeira and Thiago Santos is pretty substantial, I think.
I can't see him defending it.
At the time that he fought Thiago, I would agree with you, because at one point, Thiago, that's a huge test, but
yes,
after his knee injury post John Jones, not the same.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a version of Thiago that is an absolute motherfucker. That is for sure. Yeah. He gave John Jones everything John could handle.
The guy's fucking Brazilian Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then Glover's the pick. So
the Pretty Neat Podcast parlay, which pays out
at plus
an
8.
astounding plus 834, which is how you know it's not going to hit. Paul Craig, Brandon Moreno, Glover Teixeira, all three to win. Pays out a plus 834.
I think that's possible. I think all of those are very, very reasonable picks.
I thought that last week too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? And I think ESPN is foreshadowing here. In their fighter profiles, they have Glover wearing the belt.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
So just it's what we call manifesting over here. We're manifesting that.
Yeah. Fair enough. I like it.
Watching Glover in Brazil makes me wonder if I should get some of those ridiculous headphones that like clip in front of your ear and then clip around your head, the like shocks, whatever they're called, the bone conduction ones. And then I realized I'm probably 5 years too young to wear those. I think once I clear 41, I can pull it off.
Yeah.
So look out for that in a half decade's time.
Something you could wear while you're shopping at Costco.
That's exactly right. And I have cargo shorts on, New Balances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My sunglasses are like, oh, maybe they're on a strap too, and they're now hanging around my, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
All the parts are there.
You're really just amped because you're gonna refill your socks while you're there.
Well, and also, did you see the prices on these T-bones that they have? I mean, you can't beat that.
You guys just described Cliff.
$5 for a dozen.
Does Cliff wear those headphones?
No, he doesn't. But everything else, cargo shorts, New Balance, white socks, mid calf.
I just got a pair of New Balances actually, and I like them quite a lot.
Nice. New Balance 2024.
New Balance 2024.
Yeah, you know why I love MMA so much? It's pretty neat. That is 100% true, but it's also because it brings us together. You know what? Violence really does bring people together. Yes, let's get